What's up guys, Edward here, Old Place Outdoors, and just wanted to jump out here tonight and do a quick gear review for you. Tonight we're going to be mounting up the AT3 Tactical ARO Micro Red Dot. Going to be pairing that up with the Meadow Creek mounts, low profile universal rib clamp mount. And if you hadn't used those, they are the ticket for those guns that don't have a tapped receiver to where you can quickly add you an optic onto it. We're going to be putting that on a Remington 870 20 gauge youth model, putting some patterns down range, and we're doing all that right now. Alright, so first things first, let's just do a quick little unboxing here on the ARO Micro Red Dot sight by AT3. Just going through some of the high points though. This one carries a lifetime warranty against manufacturer's defects, and good to know. You open it up and you got your manual there, and then it looks like it's got some installation instructions here, and we don't need those, but a little baggie here with some. Got my screwdriver and my Torx heads there. And one thing that kind of, when I first opened this up, it kind of caught my eye. There's a big hollow spot right there inside the foam protective area, and you're like, whoa, is something missing? But deep down in there is your battery. So it's good to know you got the battery, comes with it. You can fire this thing right up. And got our sight here, and lens cleaning cloth down in there that I can't get a hold of, and I'm just going to go full circle, pull that out. Box is empty. So that is everything that's in the box there. And let's just jump straight over here to the site and check it out. That's where the business is at. So let's see what we got in here. Looks clean for sure. I like it. I do like this cover because it's nice and tight on there. Battery compartment on top, like I've said about other turkey or red dot sights for a turkey gun. Very important in my opinion to have that there. Now one thing I really like about this that I'm looking at, this is the first time I've even looked at one of these sights up close, but that button for the on off, and we hadn't powered it up yet, but if you look at that button, that's a nice big button. And if you've used some of these things before, some of those buttons can be just tiny, and you're sitting there trying to find the sweet spot on it almost and get that thing to cut on. So I'm really anxious to see basically the operation of this sight and see how that goes. So we're going to go ahead and put a battery in this thing and power it up, look through it and see what it looks like, and then get into mounting it up. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is get that battery compartment open. Go ahead and put a battery in there. No sense in mounting this thing up if it's not working, of course. So I've got my little multi-tool here. I'm going to just get in there and open that, just unscrew that battery compartment. Pretty straightforward, lefty-loosey. It's actually marked, it even says open, so I don't think you need much instruction on that piece, but just in case. Alright, so positive end up, and we are marked right there. The biggest flat side has the big plus sign. Just kind of let it drop into place. And guys, you just want to get all that into place. And like with anything, especially with stuff that's machined this fine, if it's not starting correctly, don't go crazy with it. You want to just make sure everything's lined up, because the last thing you want is to strip these things. And I've buttoned that up real nice. It's got a nice flush look on the battery compartment there. It says do not over tighten. So now we're going to go ahead and power it up now. See what we got. There it is. I like it. Get it on that. You can see it nice on that Bobcat's rear quarter there. But nice crisp dot. There it is on that neck of that deer now. Yep, it's clean. I like it. Several adjustment modes. I haven't really. I like to do all that after I get it on the gun, because worst thing that could happen, or I would just hate to drop this thing right now and boom, off the bench. scratch the lens or whatnot. It's way too pretty for that right now. So now we're going to move on to putting it onto this gun. And of course, always make sure that you're clear. Got nothing in the chamber there. And this is a little homemade bench that I made. Seems to serve me pretty well. So first step is let's get into the unboxing here and just jump into mounting this here. This is again, this is the Meadow Creek mounts, universal low profile rib mount. And like I've mentioned, these are great for guns just like this one with no tapping for the receiver here, or they're not really made to incorporate an optic or any kind of sight. And so you can quickly, right here where you see this is what is referred to the rib, you can add these to it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open the mount up, see what we got inside here. And again, this is a universal mount, so you're going to find there's numerous parts in this. And you open the little sleeve up and you'll see that it's got some instructions, and we'll go through some of all this as we get into it. But just jumping into it and seeing what all's in the package here. We've got a little small Allen wrench with some extra screws, and we've got some Loctite, very important when you're mounting optics, so nice to have that handy. And there's an adapter plate here, and we have multiple shims here. And you'll again, you won't use all these parts in here because what's important here, again, what it is, this is a universal mount. So if you look at this plate, when we put it up there, there's a lot of slop right there. So you wouldn't be able to button it down in a really good, solid, and forever fashion if it didn't have these shims. So you got to match up which one's going to give you the best fit. And there it is. All right, so after we've gotten we know that the shim is fit up, next step is going to be getting ready to put this mount, or put the Meadow Creek mount on. And we're going to be getting rid of this Picatinny rail piece, because that's what's so special about the Meadow Creeks, is that they are made to adapt right to this little rib mount that they've machined for a solid fit. And so basically that Picatinny mount there is going to be gone. We won't have to use it, and what that does is it allows that sight to sit lower. That way you don't have to come up off the comb as much. And so I'm just running these screws out real quick off of the base, and they were tied in there, but I'll just pop that free. As you can see now, this little mount here, I won't need it. I'm going to just throw it in the box for now. As you can see, I'll hold it up. There's little recesses where that thing drops right into it, and it's machined perfectly to adapt this sight onto that Meadow Creek mount, as you can see there. And if you look how that mount is built, you can see those little recesses. They'll just drop right into place. Boom. Nice secure fit. And then when we incorporate it onto that rail like we've seen in just a bit, and then snug it down, we're going to get a really good fit. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of these shims because we don't need them now. But this plate right here is going to be important, because that's going to be your piece that kind of comes up under your rib here. And I might have to move, because the taper of the barrel, I'm going to have to move this up. You know, of course I wanted it as close to the receiver as I could get it, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get my way on this one. I'm going to have to put it on this second rib vent there. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on this thing, and this is the blue stuff. You want to use the removable. Just don't take a whole lot, just a tad. And now keep in mind, we're using a shim right here, and you can see I've got my shim pushed all the way back. I'll show you a little something here. I'm going to line it up without the shim, and I'm going to just drop this screw in there. Get it started with one. Same thing, I'm going to jump just like when you do a tire. They mention that when you're tightening this down, but when you're changing a tire you want to do things evenly. But I'm jumping across diagonal here and just going to start one more. I drop my shim. And when I see now that one's labeled 4, so for this particular gun it's shim number 4, but you can see on there now I've got it really loosely attached. And the plan now is to get this shim in place and snug that up, and then get it set back as far as I can get it. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not going to be able to put it up against that rib or under the rib on that part because of the taper on that barrel. Same thing, just drop it into place. Quick little spin just to get it started. I'm not going to tighten anything down until I'm ready to, until they're all kind of in place anyways. Now before you tighten it down, you're wanting to look at that shim. Right here I can see that shim is just a touch out in the back. So I just took my little Allen head there and pushed it in, and I've got that seated back butted up against that stop on that rib there. So now I'm going to keep some firm backward pressure and just slowly do about a quarter turn on each of them, bouncing around. Don't do this corner and then that corner and this corner and that corner, because you might unevenly. You want to kind of just do a little bit at a time as you run it around, and as you start getting tighter you'll probably want to lessen the amount of turn you put on each of them. Anytime you torque down bolts, that's just something to keep in mind. Now as we get into the final little turns, you can see I flip my wrench over and I'm going to put these last little bites on it and just go around until I got a good bite on them. Alright, so I've went around each of these, and without having to get like a cheater bar, they are all nice and firm, and with that Loctite on there they will not move. We haven't completed the mount yet on this. Again, it's just sitting on those recesses, so it's looking nice and looking like it's in place, but I got to go back to the screws from my mount and get those in place, and I'm going to put those down with a little bit of Loctite. But once again, just want to drop them into place. Don't try to. I'm going to go ahead and drop the other one in, that way I can. Same thing here. You don't want to go slamming one side down. I'm just going to run it down to about flush, and I've kind of got these buttoned down. I'm just doing the final torque on them now. Just a quick little button up. We've got the Meadow Creek mount mounted up on this little 870, and you can see the placement of it there, and I'm liking it so far. It looks good. It's low profile still. You know, I'm used to keeping that cheek here, but I will need to come up a little bit from it. But when you're using a red dot, the thing about it is once you get this point of impact or point of aim adjusted to where it needs to be, then where that red dot is, that's where the point of aim is. So next step, we're going to be putting some TSS downrange with this guy. I like it though. It's nice and clean, easy button, easy operation, and looking forward to getting some sights downrange. So let's go check that out. All right, guys. So we're going to do some quick pattern testing now. We got the Apex Turkey 8s for 20 gauge, and we got some of the Apex Turkey Ninjas 8.5s. Got this thing somewhat zeroed in with the bird shot, so it should be pretty close to where we want to be. And I'm going to give a couple pattern tests and just to kind of go full circle for today and see what we think. Might need to make some adjustments, but let's get with it. All right, this first shot here is going to be the Apex number 8s. So here we go. touch to the right there. Not bad pattern though. Nice, good balanced pattern there for sure. All right, this next shot's going to be the Apex Ninja 8.5s. So here we go. Nice balanced pattern there too. Still a touch to the right. Both of them are nice patterns though.